Welcome back to Hot Chocolate Reviews, where we discuss
hot chocolate.
hot chocolates.
That's the aim of this podcast.
That is the only singular purpose of this podcast.
Yeah, and we start off with quite a banging,
Absolutely
podcast.
amazing hot chocolate.
Banging hot chocolate. That's
Yeah, we've got a hot chocolate submitted by Larissa. Thank
She's
you.
actually
We love you.
submitted a few.
Yeah, she submitted 4, so we got plenty to go. We can.
Yes, so we've got
we can
plenty of
keep
material.
running.
The next 4 episodes we're sorted.
We are sorted.
One issue with the others is they have, I think, Hershey's.
Yeah, and
Chocolate stuff.
we don't really get Hershey's over in Australia.
No, we don't.
Well, I mean, you can get it at specialty places, but not really at just your general
yeah,
shops.
go for Cadbury. Cadbury's
Oh, yeah.
my go-to.
I love a good Cadbury hot chocolate.
Anyway, back to the actual hot chocolate. Let's not spend the entire. Well, of course we spent the entire episode on it, but you know what I mean.
But what's in this hot chocolate? What do we got?
So we've got milk.
Mm-hmm.
We've got cocoa.
Smelling delicious.
We've got this wonderful thing called heat.
What heat? That's an important factor. That's the hot in the hot chocolate.
Exactly. Like you got to mention it.
Yep.
It's got a bit of cream. By a bit, I mean
love
a
a
little
bit of cream, cheeky bit of cream.
And then
you almost threw the entire recipe off because cream is a very rare occurrence in this household, but by some miracle
we had it.
We had it
because this is a healthy household apparently.
Yeah.
Where you use light cream because shoot yourself.
Who uses light cream? If you're using cream, go all out.
Yeah, fucking maniacs. And then of course we've got a little bit of chocolate.
Yep.
Just smell the
Actual
dark
chocolate, yeah.
Just dark chocolate.
It's good stuff.
And then
very hot chocolates. That's probably because we overcooked them. That's, our fault. We're fine. We'll take the blame for that.
Yeah.
Let's have a sip.
Yeah, let's have a proper sip. I think it's going to burn my mouth. Yep, that certainly did.
I just had a little sip, so I didn't get my mouth burnt, and that is delicious.
It is quite nice. We also added one thing that you can't go wrong if you add it to a hot chocolate.
Yeah, this was a little home invention. We tried it, and it was a bit powdery.
So you can take this tip home to your friends. This is why we're here as the podcast.
As the Hot Chocolate Review podcast.
Nutella.
Yeah, can't go wrong with Nutella. It adds
it
a
in.
little bit of nutty taste.
Little bit
It's
of
not
sweetness, little bit
it's
of
not
chocolate.
a powder, so it removes any powdery taste that you got on there, and it captures like large particles, and you get a little bit of clumping down at the bottom, which means that when you pour it, you keep the clumping in the saucepan. You get a nice smooth hot chocolate.
Yeah,
yeah, it
Use
really
Nutella.
delivers. Use Nutella. It's really good for hot chocolates.
Anyway, so on to I think the actual part of this podcast.
What are you talking about? Now? As a side thing, do we want to discuss some Phineas and Ferb?
Oh, I actually really like Phineas
I'm a big fan of that show as well.
I've
Let's
also
discuss
got
them.
notes from an episode that it was season 2, episode 17 on Disney Plus. I've got some notes from that one. Cheer Up, Candace, and Fireside Girls.
Yep.
Jamboree. Do you have notes?
I've got notes as well.
That's such a weird coincidence.
Do you want to know what my first note is?
Yes.
Press button labeled intro.
Oh,
Good
it's a
evening,
good note.
everyone, and welcome to the Implications of Phineas and Ferb podcast.
There's 365 days in a gap year, and Uni's gonna come and end it. So the once in a lifetime problem for us is to find a good way to spend it.
Making a podcast.
Anyway, welcome back to the Implications of Hot Chocolate, where we discuss hot chocolate. I'm one of your hosts, Joe. I'm one of your hosts. I did the first episode.
You did.
This
And
is
I'm
why
the
we
other
dropped
host, Lachlan.
This is why we dropped the intro.
Because you found it so hard to get the two names in this.
I got the normal intro down, Pat, but then we fucked it up by doing this whole extended bit about hot chocolates.
God damn. Anyway, I'm on Cheer Up, Candace, and I'm Joseph, and I'm starting off with a synopsis, and that is Jeremy cancels the date.
Yep, so it's a disaster.
It's a disaster.
Right off the bat.
You just read the Girls magazine and you know it's over.
Girls
it's
Mag-
over
yeah, you
for
can read it.
Candace.
Have you ever read a Girls magazine? Now, speaking of reading magazines, we have a little bit of a hobby about reading magazines.
Do we now?
When we go to the shops and we're going through the checkout and we
Yes.
have to go through the non-self-serve ones,
Yes.
you and me, and by you and me I mean just me,
Yes.
have fun
I also
reading
enjoy this though.
the tabloids
Yes.
and reading about what the royal family's done.
Did you hear Meghan had another secret baby?
Oh my! Another secret baby.
Another one.
Right after the divorce.
On top of the other secret baby. That's why they broke up.
I'm just something I don't understand about the royal family is how Meghan's allowed to get divorced so many times to the same dude
Yeah,
without ever remarrying.
It just doesn't.
She's just allowed to have divorces left and right. She's just like, bam, you get a divorce. You get a divorce. How can I ruin my children's lives in the worst? Like,
yeah.
these fucking tabloids, I swear.
They're
Like,
insane.
They're
And
just
they're
making
missing the
stuff up.
biggest news of Queen Liz never dying.
Yeah, exactly. They're like,
I would read a magazine if the article was evidence of Queen Liz's life before royalty.
I would read a magazine if every single day, exactly the same they printed on the cover, Royal family update, Queen Liz is still alive. And they just printed that every day for the rest of time because she's never going to die. We saw a great meme that was like, do you like the fireworks? And she's like, I've seen better. And it's 4 point whatever bazillion trillion years ago watching the Big Bang. Yep.
She's like, wow.
Wow, that's some fireworks.
She's seen better. All right, so Candace is distraught.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, the episode opens with one of the craziest opens we've had in a while.
Nice cold open. I love a good cold open, especially when they're this insane.
Hands up. You've got Phineas and Ferb on some cranes holding some playing cards in front of this huge playing card house. Not any old playing card house, as they say, an exact replica of the Temple of Angkor.
Angkor Wat. It had the word Wat at the end of it as well.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yep, Angkor Wat.
Angkor Wat.
Which is located in which country?
Cambodia.
Cambodia. If you've got any Cambodian listeners, write into us. Tell us about the temple. We know nothing about it.
We know nothing about it.
It's a Buddhist temple, and we know how big it is.
The very small Google, because it is actually the largest Buddhist temple by acreage.
Yep.
Which is 100...
No, it's the largest religious site ever. Like, single religious site.
And it's 162.2 hectares large.
That's a big boy.
That's a big backyard.
Yeah.
Almost as big as the backyards we have in Australia.
Yeah, I know, right?
My uncle's got a bit bigger than that. But
I got about 50,000 hectares-ish.
About 450, if we're being realistic.
Yeah. 50,000. Anyway, come to Australia, we've got plenty of space.
And it's huge.
Yep.
And so they
fit into the backyard.
all this time and effort in with these cards. Like... I'm not even going to try and calculate how many cards you'd need to cover that sort of kilometre square. Like just...
Oh, I actually calculated. I've got it on my phone right here. A lot.
Just flat cover it would be insane. And they're building it. They're having a good time. They're nearly finished. Isabella's got the camera.
To go. Isabella's got the camera.
She's ready. She's like, I've got a photo. And they're like, yep, nearly done. Candace screams and ruins everything.
Yep, she screams so loudly that the cards fall over. Now, I'm not saying that the cards were particularly... like properly stacked. Like the whole thrill of it is the fact that it can fall down. But Candace, how loud you screaming, and why'd you have to do it then?
And then also, how does Phineas react? He's just spent his solid morning.
Oh, he is so angry. He walks into Candace's room and he goes, "Candace, are you okay?
How are you, Candace?
You screamed, and I'm concerned about you.
Concerned.
Fuck the project I spent all day on.
He's literally
I care about you.
There in the remains of this huge temple of cards, going, I wonder how we can help Candace.
Because he's a good brother and a good person.
He's just a good person.
And Ferb's come along as well. He doesn't say anything, but he's thinking
there.
the same things. Yeah, he's there.
He's supportive.
Yeah, I've literally got they don't stress about their castle in my notes. Meanwhile, Perry's off on a little bit of a sneaky adventure.
Yeah, see...
Now, Perry, we've got a great Perry entrance this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Perry goes up to a dog kennel.
Yep. Dog's sleeping.
The dog is sleeping in the kennel.
Yep.
Now, firstly, whose dog is this?
And secondly, it could not be a dog. At this point, we're not sure. It could be a static thing.
Yep. But the dog is sitting in the kennel.
Attached to the kennel door.
Yep. And the kennel, the front of the kennel, the entire front of the kennel opens up.
Instead of going into the kennel like you would any other thing, the actual front of it comes off with the dog.
Yeah. Now, the dog is drawn to have depth. Its body is going into the kennel, but then the door opens and it's flat behind the door.
Yep.
And then the door closes and the dog looks up in surprise and looks at its own body like, what the hell just happened? Good question, dog. Good question.
We're wondering.
Because this isn't a Phineas and Ferb invention.
No, this is...
And this ain't a Doof invention. This is just Alka's setup.
Yep. And either this dog's
and
a
we
robot...
know that Alka does not have the budget for this sort of crap.
Either the dog's a robot, it's been programmed with self-awareness and also confusion, or it's a real dog and they do some Houdini magic on that and it just opens up. Sorry,
just taking a sip of the lovely hot chocolate recipe sent in by Larissa for this week. Thank you so much, Larissa, for sending us in the hot chocolate. That's well and truly the best part of this podcast, that people will send. We can go, hey, send us hot chocolate recipes, and people will send us hot chocolate recipes.
Talking about sending us stuff, backhanded compliments. I
still
want more.
Still do.
I still want more.
Roast us.
Try. No,
but roast it. But keep it on the down. Give us a roast that you could say in public, and your relatives wouldn't look twice. But we'd be like,
ouch.
Wait.
Wait.
So yeah, I don't have an explanation for the dog. It's not like the Phineas and Ferb adventures where I can explain it. It's just it's something.
Anyway, he goes down and Monogram's in a state of peril.
Is crying.
He is.
Now, firstly,
Past.
as people who have met Jeff Swampy Marsh,
Yes.
it's
Hard to
awful.
imagine.
It's hard to imagine him crying. He was the most jovial fellow in the world.
And he was just so lovely. He's a
he
legend.
was so lovely.
And if you want to hear a conversation,
our conversation with him, watch that. Also, if you want to see how much of a legend he is, go over to his Instagram and start donating to all of the charities he's supporting. Because, it's not enough to make the best show in existence. That's not enough good
it's
for
not enough
humanity.
to help children through everything.
Yeah.
You got to get those charities up.
He's already helped us through all the hard times in our life.
And
Now he's got to
protecting-
help every other child.
And penguins.
Yep.
He's got to branch out, protect penguins.
Yep,
and
100%.
chickens, like
Doing charity work. What a man.
anyway,
He's the
he
best.
is crying, and we're like,
And
what?
it's hard to see.
What is it? And he's like, Perry, and there's a eagle, hilarious American, and some other animal I've already forgotten.
There's a bear.
Bear
Mhm.
next to Perry, and he's like, we've got to bring you in. You're a rogue
You're
agent.
despicable.
You're despicable.
How
Look,
can you do this? We
I
thought
can't-
better of such an
I can't
upstanding
imagine.
agent.
And he's littering
He is littering.
and stealing money from a bank and throwing it out the window.
Okay, I don't give a shit about the money thing. He's littering. Hey, tosser, put it in the bin.
For those not Australian listeners, that
We
was
had
a
a
big
great ad
campaign.
campaign.
It's still going on.
Australian ad campaigns don't mess around, right?
They're either
In
good
America,
or they're usually good. No.
you're surprised if you ever come to Australia and try to buy cigarettes. You shouldn't, but if you do, the packets are covered in like gory images
of what happens.
what
when
happens when you
smoke.
smoke and you get cancer.
So
and
like
all that sort of
rotten
stuff.
teeth, terrible feet. We had a video on TV, a TV ad about
And
not smoking.
Let me tell you, when this, just for context of describing this was played on prime time.
Yeah.
I saw this video when I was 8.
Yeah, just before the news or just after, they had dissected a body of a person who had smoked their entire life, and they cut the esophagus out. They were holding this tube, and they just squelched this white, yellow,
What a
pus-filling stuff.
Man, what a lovely thing to
And
talk
they're
about while discussing, while enjoying a delicious
while on
beverage.
this
Yeah.
hot chocolate podcast. And yeah, so that turned out to be. See, that's how you scare people out
The
of
trick
smoking.
is to traumatize, and they do that for all things.
Yeah,
Our
cars.
car crash ads are horrific.
They're just like, this
They're
is what
like-
happens. Don't race to the other
The car
side.
crash ads,
And he drives up to a train.
Yeah, the car-
He stops in time.
and he sees all of the memories of
All
his
of his life, all the kids.
car
and
crash
then
ads
things
don't-
that haven't happened yet.
Yeah,
That he has a second child. All sorts of stuff.
the car crash ads, they don't go after you like traumatically. They don't try to scare you out of it. They go after you emotionally. They try to like make you just so scared and realize in your heart the consequences of your actions. It's very effective.
Yeah, and they're like, just a few Ks can save someone's life. It's insane. Anyway, don't be a tosser. Put it in the
Yeah,
bin.
that's our ad for anti-littering. The
That's
government is
literally it.
actively encouraging us to bully people because the double meaning of tossing,
Yeah.
it's a bullying word and you're
it's
literally
not
tossing.
bullying if we use it.
It's,
if you're
we're just
literally
saying that
doing
they
it.
toss their rubbish out of the way.
It's like
That's
if
wrong
you
with
had a
that.
horrible friend and he had sex with your mother, you could be like, motherfucker, and that wouldn't be mean at all.
Exactly. And it's just like that. Hey, tosser, put it in the bin. Perry, why are you being a tosser? What's going on there?
And we're just. Perry looks surprised as well.
Perry's like, what the hell
Perry
is
doesn't
going
understand. Anyway, they go to handcuff him. Of course, he handcuffs him back, gets out of there. And you know what I immediately thought?
Mm.
Tom Cruise would be perfect for this role.
on? Yeah, as we say, they're doing all the Tom Cruise
This
movies.
is-
This one's Rogue
This
Nation.
is the synopsis for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I have not watched that film. I have not Googled it.
It's got the words Rogue Nation in
And
it.
I just assume there's been one Mission Impossible where
Now-
they've gone after Tom Cruise, and this is why.
Now, let me just say, when you assume there's been one, I'm going to blow your mind here.
Holy shit.
It's all of them.
Every single one.
Every single one. The plot of Mission Impossible is just Tom Cruise goes rogue because he gets framed for a thing, and then they, go on an adventure across the world trying to clear Tom Cruise's name or whatever.
I'm going to be honest. The only Mission Impossible I've watched from beginning to end is Fallout.
Yep,
No, is
Fallout.
that Fallout? Yep. The one on Netflix right now, and I watched it for my New Year's.
We watched it so we could watch Henry Cavill reload his arms. That was the
Which-
only reason.
It was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, he's walking up, and he's like, these biceps, they aren't ready. Hold on.
Now they're
reload
ready.
them. Oh, it's beautiful.
It's a
Who
good
needs to-
moment.
Like, when you've got biceps as big as Henry Cavill's, you've got to reload them.
Oh, but you have to. The recoil's insane.
And this is where our Tom Cruise and our Mission Impossible
Henry
obsession
Cavill.
and our Phineas and Ferb
Jeremy.
movie, Jeremy, Perry, it
This is
all
where it
crosses
starts.
over.
That movie though is terrible. It's fun.
That is such a controversial opinion to just drop.
Okay, it's
Because
fun.
people say it's quite good.
There is. Yeah.
Okay.
Objectively, there is in 10 minutes 4 plot twists.
Some would say that's too many plot twists.
That's a little too many. And just by that alone, you could probably say it's not that great.
I think in terms of writing, Mission Impossible's never been good.
No.
I think the Mission Impossible
Maybe
is
the first one was. I wouldn't know.
Actually, no, I take that back. The first one is very well written.
Okay, I wouldn't know.
Only if you haven't seen the Mission Impossible TV series, though, that came before it, with it it's a remake of, which it's just basically the plot of the TV series. Anyway, Mission Impossible isn't really movies. They're stunt performers' action reels that they use to get roles in other movies.
Yeah, no. There's about... So
there's some guy there who's like, I did 4 Halo jumps with a fucking IMAX camera strapped to my forehead with Tom Cruise like less than a meter away from me, having to like control how low he's diving. It's Mission Impossible is just Tom Cruise trying to kill himself and a bunch of stunt actors trying to get really good
shots of him trying to kill himself.
Yeah, onto their stunt reels so that they can, use them for stuff. Like there's a hit that a guy takes in that bathroom fight in Fallout where he like slams his head on the tiles. And if you watch it frame by frame, you can see the tiles bend a little bit because they're actually padded. But it looks so brutal.
Also, when he actually breaks his ankle doing the jump, that is a highlight. But when you take it back a bit, it is just a man jumping a 2-minute gap.
Yeah, it's not one of the more impressive stunts in the thing. But if he failed one of the more impressive stunts, he wouldn't be alive. So
that's true.
Yeah.
You've got to give credit to a man that does his own stunts for no reason.
They
literally have professionals for it.
Anyway, you know that Hollywood vault we talk about where every story is stolen from Phineas and Ferb? This is where all the Mission Impossible movies came from. We're watching the origin story of Mission Impossible.
Number 0.
When they were writing the Mission Impossible TV show in the, I'm going to go ahead and say 70s, probably wrong. They were like, let's go check out the vault. And they went down. Season 2, episode 17, part 1 of Phineas and Ferb.
Rogue Nation.
The B plot of that episode.
Got him.
That is a perfect plot for a Hollywood, for a fairly average TV show that lasts one season.
We have so many more implications to do.
We got a lot to do.
Okay. So Candace is distraught. Phineas is like, all right, I can't have this because I'm a good brother and a good human being. What I'll do is we'll make her feel better. Asks to talk to Isabel. Isabella's like, she's like, 3 ways to do it. Number 1, give him a makeover.
She's also getting this from a magazine, by the way.
A better magazine.
Yeah, this one's a lot better than the other one.
Number 1, get them a makeover. They hire a clown.
That's a bad makeover move.
Bit of a miss.
Now, you personally know the bassist for Love Handle. What are you doing? Give me a ring. Do you want it to look like a literal clown, or do you want it to look fabulous?
I'm fabulous. We need that on the soundboard.
We do need that on the soundboard. It's never needed it more than this moment now.
Fabulous. I love that. That was horrendous. Anyway, bad move. It's okay. They make up for it when Candace and Stacey are like, "Oh, we should go get ice cream then." And she's like, "I don't know if that will help." And Phineas is like, "Don't worry. This way, ladies." As they
open their front door. Does it lead to outside?
No.
Where does it lead?
Not anymore. It leads to Phineas holding a velvet
rope. Yep.
Velvet rope, and he's like, just this way, and escorts them to a nightclub.
Mm-hmm. He's got like a higher class kind of speakeasy jazz club kind of feel, and it's comedy night, baby.
And they go downstairs.
Now they go out the front of their house and downstairs, which means they've excavated the front. Am I using excavated right?
I assume so. Sounds
good.
Yeah,
they've dug out the front yard and turned it into a speakeasy.
Yep. And they've dug a huge hole, got rid of the road,
poured the infrastructure in. There's a bar there, presumably.
Made it a basement. Yeah, there's a bar. There's drinks.
They went and briefly got their RSAs. Aren't you a little young to be getting your liquor license?
Well,
yes, I am.
Legally, yes.
Yep.
Yes. And then they get them a drink.
But they're like, yes, we're a little young to be getting our liquor licenses, but we're going to be serving liquor. So
up to you.
We'll come through the legal ways. We'll do all of the training required, or we can just go start pouring shots in our backyard. Whatever you want. I mean, I'll make a better cocktail than you regardless. So just hand me that license, boy.
And it is, so I don't have cops. Anyway, so it gets there, and then Baljeet, they've got a comedy night going, which is fun, I guess. And Baljeet's got his dummy, and his dummy's voice
is Dan Poppermeyer's voice.
Yeah, the puppet's voice.
His actual voice.
His actual...
Very cool.
Proper speaking voice.
And the thing is, I didn't Google that. You didn't Google that.
No, you can hear it.
You can hear it. It just sounds like it.
Yeah.
Easy.
Google. It's fantastic.
Yep, easy peasy.
And Baljeet kind of flops.
Baljeet has Baljeet's entire set is supported by the joke that is made immediately after it, which is he does a thing with a with like a marionette puppet. Yeah, and then Phineas, like, he doesn't get an applause, and then he goes off the stage, and Phineas goes, "Let's hear it for the dummy." And the puppet wasn't bad either. Got it. Phineas is the one that's really running the show here, isn't he? He's got it going.
He was just Baljeet was the punchline. Like, he was just waiting, and he was building the tension.
And then Buford's set also kind of fails.
Yeah,
Buford's doing physical comedy. None of it's landing. It's bad. But luckily, someone's here to save the day.
Ferb Fletcher
in his nice suit. He walks up to the mic.
Up to the stage. Lowers it a little bit.
He lowers it a little bit. He takes a second to lower it. He taps it and he makes sure it's working. And then he pulls out the mic stand and he holds it in front of him and he goes, "So how about that airline food?" Classic.
It's
very
hilarious.
well done. Yep, no, that's the best. Because how about that airline food, right?
I know, it's hilarious.
It's just another one of these.
I love that joke.
Very well done.
It's funny.
Well done,
Because it's not funny, but it is funny.
It is funny.
And comedians talk about it all the time.
Yeah, it's just like this meta contextual joke that requires, like, it depends on the reaction to it, and it's sold so well. It's just like A+, well done to
fantastic
Dan and Jeff and to all the other writers in the room.
I would not expect any other joke from, like, usually when they do humor, it's in a non-conventional sense. But in this, they're like, here you are. Here is a stand-up comedy routine. Make it funny. And they do.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yep. If it's funny, it's funny. Like, doesn't
if it's
matter
Phineas
how
and
you made
Ferb, they smashed it.
Then,
doesn't work.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work.
Everyone's laughing except Candace.
Yep.
Somehow, she doesn't laugh during that joke. I don't understand it.
I do not understand it either, because I was sitting there like, just the whole way through. Like, I was like standing ovation. It was great. Meanwhile, Perry's off with Doof. And he breaks into Doof's headquarters. And
he goes to, where's he going?
Oh, Doofenshmirtz Evil Incorporated. Yeah, there. Do you know who he's fighting? Who's Perry?
I love that conversation. That was good.
Yep. And wait, no, but how does Perry relate to Doof? Ah, that makes sense. Yeah. It is an episode of this show without listening to Nemesis.
You have to. It's part of the requirement of this.
So he goes in, and turns out Doof's been the one framing him all along. He's been making
surprise.
Yeah,
not really.
He's been making Perry the Platypus clones or robots. It's kind of unclear.
We assume robots because when he smashes them,
they sparks and all that stuff. But then also, one of them came out like all weird, and like, how would that work if it was a robot?
Yeah, if it's the first batch, how does
one come out bad? Like, how does one come out with growth defects?
And he's called Jerry,
which is funny.
I do like Jerry.
Jerry and Perry.
Jerry and Perry and Terry. And Derry, I think he had.
Yep. And he drops a great line. Doof does. One of the best lines. It's up there as one of my favorite lines of this whole show. It's so good. He's like, I have been thinking about it all wrong this entire time. I've just been needing to fight fire with fire. And by fire, I mean Perry the Platypus. And by fire, I also mean Perry the Platypus.
I thought of this while I was on fire.
Just, it's one of those jokes that's funny, and it just keeps getting funnier.
Yeah, because he gets Perry the Platypus to fight Perry the Platypus, and Perry destroys. He pulls out a little bar. He
grabs a pipe, and he's like, "I'm gonna break some skulls."
It's
now at this point,
to kill some platypuses.
At this point, it's never really been specified whether these are actual clones or whether they're robots. But Perry could just be popping heads.
Perry don't care.
Perry don't care.
Perry
will splatter your brains all over the pavement for all he gives a fuck.
He's actually part honey badger. Have you seen that video?
No.
Honey badger? Honey badger don't give a shit?
Nope.
Honey badger don't care? I'm going to blow your... When we leave this booth, you are going to lose your shit.
Rightio.
There is an animal called the honey badger, and it does not care.
How is it different from a regular badger?
It gets bitten by a snake. It sleeps it off.
Dang.
Its body is built like... It's not built like a tank. It's built like a normal badger, but everything on the inside works super hard so he can do anything. And they've got such a high pain tolerance. and that's it.
My favorite video of a small, quadrupedal mammal is the video of the raccoon that gets given some fairy floss and then goes to wash it, and then the fairy floss disappears, and he's like all heartbroken. He's like, "Where's my fairy floss?" And then he gets another one and he goes to wash it again, and he's like, "Oh fuck, it's happening again!" And he gets given a third bit of fairy floss, and he's like, "No, I've got it." And he doesn't wash it; he just eats it. And he's like, and it's great because not only is the heartbreak when he puts it in the water hilarious, but also he gets his fairy floss in the end, and that's what matters.
No, watch the honey badger video. Good recommend by me.
So meanwhile, Phineas and Ferb make the mix and mingle
Which
nature.
is again something someone's got out of the vault and used in real life, and it's called speed dating.
Yeah, Phineas and Ferb invented speed dating,
and they did.
Unsurprising.
And they didn't just invent speed dating; they invented an extreme version of it, where it's only 2 seconds and you're on a spinny thing.
Yep, 2 seconds to make an impression. What would you say in 2 seconds?
Do you like podcasts? I've got this fantastic.
Do you know what I'd say?
What?
I can cook minute rice in 59 seconds. Done.
Hot.
That's my whole exchange. It's not that much of a beast.
I don't know. I think I'd probably just smile and be like, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, no. How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing? You just keep trying to do your best version of that, and
Yeah,
you'll slowly improve over the night.
Pull a Joey Tribbiani. This entire machine is powered by Ferb just cycling on a little treadmill
Have you
thing.
seen Ferb's biceps? His legs would be, like, ripped as well.
But when he reveals his muscles, his legs aren't ripped. That's
No,
the
because
point.
he's just revealing...
Oh,
the
he's
top
just
half.
flexing. Okay, yeah, perfect.
He could be flexing the bottom half when he's doing the bicycle. It's kind of covered up.
Yeah, fair enough.
He is a god after all.
I mean, if you've ever watched Wonder Woman, side note, Wonder Woman 84, I have so many thoughts, but we're not going to go into it. This episode's going to be long enough as it is. Wonder Woman's doesn't have like insane muscles, but she can throw a car, you know.
Yeah, but she's also fictitious and made by a man.
Whereas Ferb Fletcher is real.
Yes. Speed dating, 2 seconds.
Yep.
Nice and easy. Quick. There's some weird people on that.
Some very
speed.
weird people. And then turns out all Candace needed was to go get some ice cream, and when she does, Jeremy's there.
And now this is where this entire episode turns into just Jeremy is the best. And this is where the podcast turns into Jeremy Appreciation Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because, boy, that man is fantastic.
He was working an extra shift to save up money to surprise her. What's he surprising her with? Horse-drawn carriage date. What a sweetheart.
Like, come on. You can't beat that. And he's like, I'm so glad you're not one of those crazy girls who goes crazy when...
I've literally got a note. Candace is clingy as fuck.
I wasn't going to say clingy, but it's definitely...
She's very clingy. You kidding?
Well, yeah, she's a crazy bitch, but it's more the insecurity is the reason why she went absolutely insane. But it's not entirely her fault. She's just been fed it by those magazines.
In the TV show Friends, Ross and Rachel have a thing that's been going for heaps of seasons,
Yep.
and it's a bad example of a relationship. If you want another bad example for a relationship, it's Candace and Jeremy.
No.
I ship them. I'm allowed to think that they're cute together. I'm allowed to want them to get their happy ending. But I don't think Candace is a good model for a person, like a date.
No, you
She's very toxic.
obviously don't aspire to be Candace, but I also think that's part of what they've done.
If both people aspire to be Jeremys, that's the perfect relationship.
That's where you want to be.
Yeah. Be the Jeremy to your other Jeremy.
That's what you want in life. Be a Jeremy to your other Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to point out, I think it's obviously just a ploy, well, not a ploy, but some meta commentary on the state of magazines and all that kind of horrible culture
And
around teenage
it got
girls.
so much better in the future. Now they only report on the facts, like the fact that Meghan Markle's been divorced from the royal family because Queen Liz decided that she'd be better off dead. Like,
yes. Yeah, the magazines have improved.
Yep.
And in the media we consume has definitely improved. That hasn't gone to shit at all.
100%. If there's one thing that I think is reputable at this point in the world,
It's Tumblr.
it's... I was going to say
Reddit.
news organizations, but just that in general. Mm-hmm.
All right, the
that's-
next one's Fireside
Yep.
Girl Jamboree.
Oh boy, let's
Tell us
see if
what
we
happens.
can fast track this one a bit more. So, Phineas and Ferb are working on an invention really early because the cleanup didn't take care of itself this time.
Yeah.
We don't never see that
They
invention.
spent the whole night cleaning it up, and they said it was their biggest one, and we don't even know what it is.
Mhm.
Did have some space stuff. It could be the observatory from that episode. They etched their face into a comet.
That wouldn't surprise me. So meanwhile, Candace is trying to get some tickets.
Yep.
She's the teen heartthrob band that's playing.
Yep.
Just trying to get some tickets.
Yep.
Whatever.
She wants the biggest tickets. She wants to wait at her computer till they go on sale and then buy them immediately.
And
like
she's doing
all the nerds go to Gamescom and stuff like that.
Yep. But then she sticks her head out the window to talk to Phineas and Ferb, and then she goes back in, and the news countdown guy goes, "Unless your head was sticking out a window for the last 13 seconds, you know those tickets are completely sold out." Great line.
And also rip Candace.
Yep, rip Candace.
And there's one way she can go see them. With the Fireside
Girls
Jamboree
special thing, yeah.
They pulled the biggest band.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, why not? And she needs a special login. She doesn't
No,
have
they
it.
didn't pull the biggest band. They didn't pull Love Handle.
Oh, you're right. That's true. That's a Phineas and Ferb thing.
Yep.
They pulled the second, though, the best rip-off band of Love Handle, another 4-person.
No, I think it's meant to be
Boys
modern
band.
Love Handle. So I think that like
Yeah.
Love Handle was meant to be like a Queen or a
It's like,
like
how
an
One
80s
Direction
band.
was meant to be the Beatles.
Yeah, basically. It's
Yeah.
like if Love Handle were like the Beatles or like Queen or whatever, like a older band.
Significantly better.
This new guys are
One
the
Direction.
One Direction, or more accurately 5 Seconds of Summer, because they're doing like they're a band playing instruments and stuff rather than a all vocalist.
Oh,
band.
okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
5
Anyway.
Seconds of Summer are great.
I actually kind of like
They're a
them,
really
yeah.
good band. Teeth is a fantastic song. That's one of
Teeth.
our car bangers, isn't it?
Yeah, and Youngblood.
Yep, both great songs.
Come here
No.
for hot chocolate, stay for Phineas and Ferb, and then leave with Spotify recommendations.
Yeah, exactly. It's a well-rounded podcast. We get the job done. So Candace has got to get 50 patches because in order to join the Fireside Girls faster than in a week, and she needs it today, she's got to get 50 patches in a day. That's the one exception. How does she find this out? Well, Isabella explains that their founder had decreed that
Points to
she points
picture?
to a picture of the founder. She goes, "Our founder decreed that the only way to get it was at an official induction ceremony, so you got to wait a week." And the painting suddenly moves and goes, "There's another way."
And she's like, "Who puts a picture frame in front of a window?" And we were like, "We didn't know that was a window."
So
You're telling me
firstly-
this lady lives in
right
this,
next to
right
this
next
specific
door,
Fireside
or
Girls
in
room.
this Fireside.
That explains why Isabella's the best Fireside Girl.
Why?
Well, she's literally getting tutelage from the original one. Like she's the founder of the Fireside Girls has put
Is
her
still
house
alive.
next to their troop. She's that good.
She's got the same genes as Queen Liz.
Ah, that makes sense.
It's all
that makes
coming
sense.
together.
Mm-hmm. So Candace has got to get 50 patches in a day.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Perry and Doof are on their adventures. They're going to teleport Perry to Doof. Makes life a lot easier for him. When they teleport him, unfortunately,
It misses.
they misses. They get him a bit to the right.
First, they get him to the Fireside Girls,
Mm-hmm.
and then a bit to the right, and then he uses his grappling hook to get back in.
And he's fine. And
He
then
rolls out of the
the
cage,
trap drops and he dodges it.
Yeah,
Badass.
beautiful. And he's like, "All right, I'm going to take Doof down."
And then they call him on his watch and they're like, "Don't worry, we've recalibrated the teleporting," and they teleport him right into the cage.
See, this is why I come for this show.
That's a funny joke.
It's so set up, payoff. It's so beautiful. I love it.
So,
He's built a metal awayinator.
he's gonna turn metal into broccoli because he wants to destroy the bridge to the Fireside Girls
Okay.
cupcake factory.
Okay, now,
Now this is a reoccurring problem for Doof. Let's talk about it.
all right, I've written it. This is my one big implication for this episode.
Oh, big one.
Yes, the Fireside Girls have targeted Doof because they know they can get money out of him.
He's susceptible.
He's
oh
susceptible.
My God.
They first went there for cookies. They've gone there for cupcakes. They obviously keep coming up. He keeps paying the money. It's like feeding addiction. They're taking advantage of Doof's addiction here.
I mean, they wouldn't walk up to the 38th floor if
If they didn't
They
know
didn't
they
have-
were going to get
they were going to
paid.
get a thing. Because as this episode establishes, Doof lives on the 38th floor.
Yeah, but he's had some real issues with the Fireside Girls before. The last time he made one of the most used innators, because it happens in other episodes, the Invisinator, the one that turns things invisible. He invented that so he could turn himself invisible so the cute little Fireside Girls couldn't see him.
Instead of just closing the blinds.
Yeah, or turning them invisible so he didn't have to see them.
Or
But-
just, going to a different room.
Yeah, no, he wanted to watch his TV.
So meanwhile, back with Candace and Phineas and all that sort of stuff, the boys are helping Candace get her 50 patches. They've built an automated roller coaster delivery system for her to deliver cookies.
They've also organised how she's going to get all 50 in a really beautiful schedule. At this point,
Yeah, at what point are Phineas and Ferb the ones getting the patches?
they do most of them already. The only thing they don't really do is tackle an alligator, which again was quite a funny joke, as they just watched her
Wrestle an alligator.
wrestle an alligator. Now,
Now,
yeah, you go.
I was going to say she's struggling with an alligator.
Yeah, come on.
Come on.
Come over
You
here.
ever gone up to the fucking Northern Territory, seen a crocodile?
That's
We have.
alligators. Your level 1. Hit
Yep.
up level 20. This is a crocodile.
Yeah, exactly. And crocodiles are perfect.
They haven't evolved
Yeah.
for 200 million years.
Evolution looked at the crocodile and was like, I'm done with that. That's finished.
It
It's
hasn't
perfect.
evolved. It is the perfect killing machine.
And let me tell you.
It has its
Candace.
famous. Do you know what its famous move is called?
What?
The death roll.
Yeah, that's a roll
Do you
where
know
you
what?
die.
Yeah. You know what happened? You figured it out.
Yep.
It's a roll where you die.
Yep.
And it's what it does best.
Mhm.
It's sorted.
And it's beast. And also, let me tell you, Candace, not only are you not struggling with a particularly difficult animal, but also struggling with an alligator. Steve could have taken down a crocodile 20 times the size of that in like a third of the time.
Actually, I've got some interesting things for you about crocodiles. This
Oh,
is
really?
a bit
Do
of
tell.
information. They have one of the strongest, I think the strongest clamping down force of any animal. Like
Dang.
they will break bones with the amount of force they
But
can
the
close their
clamp
jaw.
up force.
But
is
their
really
clamp
weak.
up force is really weak. You can hold it with a rubber band.
Mhm.
And you know what they usually do as crocodile hunters? You know what they use?
What?
Elastic tape, plumbing tape.
Nice.
So this huge monster, the only keeping them from not losing a leg or being eaten alive is a little bit of elastic tape.
And it works.
And it works.
Yep. If there's one thing Steve taught me, it's you don't need to go overboard. You need to respect the animal, its natural habitat.
And
If
then
you
tackle
catch,
it with
you
6
release.
men.
If you catch, yeah, exactly. Well, you want backup because you're fighting a crocodile. Unless you're Steve and you can just do it yourself.
And it's also 7 foot or
Yeah.
8 foot.
Yeah, that man was insane.
Yeah, he
And I'll
was
never
crazy.
forgive the stingray that took him away from us. Moment of mourning on the podcast. You know how
you know how
in a
I
three
feel about Steve Irwin.
you know how in a 3-act structure there's the low point at the end of Act 2. This is
it.
the low point of the podcast.
All
at
right,
the
so
end
let's
of Act
bring
2.
it home to Act 3.
They're going along on their roller coaster. They play Go Phineas Go, but it's with Candace now.
Go, Candace, go, Candace.
It's a great song. And they deliver all of the cookies, but that's only 49 patches.
She needs one
Are
more
broken.
patch.
But then the Fireside Girl founder's like, wait a second. Have a 50th patch because you broke the record of how many patches you get in a day. By a lot.
I've discussed this.
Mm.
No, we did this with the Guinness World Records.
Yep.
Where they got a Guinness World Record for breaking the most Guinness World Records in one day. Then you get another Guinness World Record.
Because
But
yeah,
you just
exactly.
went.
It's a self-perpetuating
So as
cycle.
long as-
She's now beaten her own record. She needs another patch.
Yeah, exactly. So if the patch says broken the most amount of patches previously held by 12, that's okay because
Yep.
it's got a capped number. But if it doesn't, then if true for n plus 1, true for n equals affinity.
I don't code, but like, yeah, same.
That wasn't code, but yeah,
It's
that's all right.
math. I don't give a fuck. Last implication.
Mhm.
The roller coaster gets shot with the broccolinator that Doof's built.
Yep.
And
And he shot other things.
Yep. And let me tell you, when I say Phineas don't give a fuck, that his roller coaster just turned to broccoli for no
And he
reason.
was falling to his death.
They were falling to his death. They were laughing. They land on a pile of broccoli. And she's like, wait, why did it turn to broccoli? And Phineas is like, you don't have time for that, go!
He's like, you don't have time for this. Focus, Candace. Do what you need to. You can focus on this, Phineas.
Nah.
Doesn't care. Doesn't want to think about
He's
it.
like, sweet,
It's not worth it.
clean up handled for me.
Again.
It's nice. That's why I much prefer it when clean up's handled. So Candace gets to the concert, and then right at the end we get the joke. Isabella could take guests all along.
Yep.
So Candace done fucked up. She's wasted a whole day, but she got to the concert,
And she's also a Fireside Girl.
she's a
now,
Fireside Girl, and that's what matters.
with 50 patches.
Yeah, easy. She's smashing it. That's nothing compared to Isabella's 45,000, but she's going. She's getting there. She's getting there.
well.
Yeah. I'm surprised Isabella didn't hold that record.
No,
the
this
record
other
was 6
random
patches in a
kid,
day,
it
and
was
like that's
6.
barely anything. You'd think Isabella would do
goddamn.
that just for fun.
Yeah.
I still want to know what the patch is that she threatens Doof with. In
Yeah,
Candace
we've
Against
still
the
got our
Movie.
theory that I can drive because I can.
Yeah.
And I'll hit and run you if you think otherwise. Anyway, I'm
Yeah.
so hot from this hot chocolate.
Yeah, so let's
and
do
this
some
very
plugging.
hot booth.
Firstly,
Instagram.
letters. Have we got any letters? As
Oh.
said, super valuable letter from Larissa. She got us those
4
hot chocolate recipes.
recipes.
We really appreciate it. Thank you
Yep.
so much for hot chocolate recipes. If you got some hot chocolate recipes, send them in. If you got some backhanded compliments, send
them
those in as well.
We also got another one, didn't we?
We
from-
got
on
another
Instagram?
one from Zach. He says, sure you've seen it before, but here's a meme. I thought you guys might enjoy it. Looking forward to listening to the New Year's episode later tonight. Hope you're looking forward to listening to this one as well because you're in it.
And it's not the normal Zach, it's the other Zach.
It's a random Zach.
Every time we've said that, though, we've meant the Zach that's come on the show. This is
just
genuinely a different Zach.
This is just a random
You
Zach.
got to take us our word for it.
Yeah, all the other times that we're like, oh, someone commented on the YouTube or someone wrote in and said Zach, that's been, pretend.
And the
that we don't know
meme
him.
was about Australia.
The meme is about Australia, and we love Australian memes. The entire Mediterranean Sea can fit inside of Australia.
Yep.
That doesn't surprise me.
And then people are like, oh my God, you would nearly kill 5 people
Yep.
if you did this. And you're 100% right.
Yep, and you'd probably even miss Uluru because, like, the boot thingy in Italy, like Sicily or whatever, is around where Uluru is. So, like,
I'd
you'd
like to
probably
think
miss it.
Uluru would be just its own little island.
Just in its own island. Yep, that's cute.
Mm.
Yeah, if we've got enough space to put the entire Mediterranean Sea in the center of Australia, you'd think that we'd have enough space to chuck some solar panels and wind farms. But what do
Yeah.
I know, right?
Or a couple hundred refugees.
Couple hundred. That's
Couple
way too
I know.
generous, Joe.
I know, it's out.
How are they?
Stop the boats.
How are you going to give them the 155,000 acres of land that every Australian is required to have?
Boundless planes to share until you don't speak
Yeah.
a language other than English.
Yeah, until you only speak a language that isn't English. Like, no boundless planes to share here. It's like, come on. It's literally in our anthem.
It's literally in our national anthem.
Share some Australia. You
Get
can have
off it.
some. You can have some of ours. But we got space.
We've got plenty
Whatever. Yeah.
of all your 3,000 acres you apparently own that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, you can have 100,000 of them. Just
100,000.
first person to write in can just claim them if you want. You can have half my house, whatever. I don't give a shit. We got space. It's fine. Welcome to Australia. Anyway, this booth is very, very hot.
I am so sweaty.
So sweaty.
Yes.
Thank you so much for writing in. Send us your backhanded compliments. And I know what we've done today.
I know what we've done today.
The implications of Phineas and Ferb. Listen to it whenever you can.